Galnet News Digest, 4th of August 3306. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, Galactic authorities get tough on parking. Second Tritium top-up fails to compensate for Colonia shortage. Buckyballers put the record straight. A dimension of hope. Turning the Whelk. Galactic authorities get tough on parking. Fleet carrier owners who've become used to parking on the planetary double yellows got a shock yesterday as new restrictions came into place. The new rules, which are intended to alleviate overcrowding and to allow locals to visit their local space station without having to run the gauntlet of hundreds of out-of-system tourists, and to prevent the shipping lanes becoming clogged up with rows of fleet carriers parking on both sides, allow no more than 16 fleet carriers to go into orbit around any one celestial body. For very small systems, this of course means only 16 carriers in the entire system, but even in large systems, there's still an absolute limit of 255 carriers. You might have been hoping for a prime parking spot next to Hutton Orbital, but don't be surprised if you find yourself shunted 0.22 light-years away into an unglamorous orbit around Alpha Centauri b, where all the cool commanders aren't. Second Tritium top-up fails to compensate for Colonia shortage. Brewer Corporation has topped up Fleet Carrier Commander's Tritium deposits for a second time, in the light of ongoing Tritium shortages. Many commanders have reported being stranded out in the depths of space after Tritium became inexplicably hard to mine 3 weeks ago. And this second top-up will be welcomed by all except those commanders who've recently managed to buy enough of the rare commodity themselves and have therefore missed out on the latest handout. Reports have started to come in that Tritium, while not as plentiful as it used to be, is now available to mine again. However, carrier owners in Colonia have reported terrible shortages of Tritium on the market there, with commanders limited to 5 tons per purchase. Even in the bubble, owners are having to search the markets for enough Tritium to keep their carriers flying. Meanwhile, miners report that low-temperature diamonds are once again available to mine, with a mix of surface and subsurface deposits the best approach. Some subsurface deposits appear to consist of more than 3 fragments, so while mining may never be quite as profitable as it used to be, it is once more a practical option. If you like mining. Buckyballers put the record straight. After Lave Radio described Speedball as a Buckyball Racing Club event, Commander Alec Turner has been in touch to clarify matters. Apparently, it's not just Speedball, but also Slaughterball and the 8-Wheel Drive Endurance Championship that are Buckyball events, all organised by Commander Turner himself. In unrelated news, Commanders Mr. Black Maze, Primetime Casual, Sanderling and Iolair are reported to have taken out a bounty on the head of Commander Alec Turner. A dimension of hope. Commanders who don't like pancakes have been warned against getting their hopes up, following an ambiguous announcement by the Pilots Federation. The crepe-hating VR cult has been sounding off noisily about how they'll never fly another spaceship if they can't do it with a box of electronics strapped to their head. In response to this torrent of thoughtful comment, Pilots Federation spokesperson Commander Gambit said that while there would be no VR in Odyssey at launch, that's not to say we're not looking at it. We are absolutely looking to get VR into Odyssey. It's just a question of whether or not we can deliver that to the high standard that you guys deserve. So, the Pilots Federation is committing to having VR if, and presumably only if, and when, they can do it to a high standard. like mining, and fleet carriers, and ice planets. Turning the Whelk. While the Turning the Wheel initiative is making progress expanding the Dark Wheel faction from Shinrar to Dezra and LFT 926 into Anianwu and now HR 4979, the search for the Dark Whelk is at an end. It has been hiding in plain sight in the Hutton Helper and can be found in the Dehai MN-Q D6-9 system. Unless Commander Deadmeat GF has jumped it somewhere else in the meantime. And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.